Hi, Allison here. Today's video is about the prior written notice. I want to help you learn to be a more effective advocate for your student. And so I want to share with you what I think is the most powerful tool that we as parents have when working with a school district, and that is the prior written notice. So that is what this video is about today. And I hope at the end of this video, you will be able to use this tool to get better services for your student in the public schools. So first of all, the name, prior written notice. That seems a little confusing. So for the purposes of explaining it to you, let's just get rid of the word prior. It's a written notice. So basically, as a parent, the prior written notice or written notice is a tool that you have to request of the school to provide you with written notice about a decision that they are making. So let's say, for example, you're in a meeting and you believe that your child needs targeted reading instruction. You ask for this service and the school gives you some reason why that isn't necessary. So here's when you pull out your tool to help you be a more effective advocate. This is where in the meeting that you just request that the school provide you with a written notice as to why they're making that decision. They need to provide you with a written notice which serves as the basis for their refusal. So you're really putting them on the spot. But here's the thing, you're not putting them on the spot. You're making the provision in IDEA, the procedural safeguards section actually, to be the bad guy here and require that the school district tell you why they're not providing something that you believe your child requires. So you request that the school district provide you with a prior written notice. But here's the thing, if you say it verbally in a meeting, even if you're recording the meeting, the school might forget that you told them. So it's really important to follow up the IEP meeting with an email that restates that you requested a prior written notice, for example, that you requested this targeted research-based reading instruction for your child, and let them know that that was your request and you want a prior written notice. So it's really important that you remind them in writing that you have requested this prior written notice. So it's a very, very effective tool because, as many of you know, you've gone to meetings and you've asked for things that your child requires, and you're even looking at testing data. It makes it pretty clear that your child needs more support and needs services, and the school district will tell you no, and you just don't have in your toolbox a way to convince them that they need to do this. Well, the prior written notice is a pretty effective tool. So you ask them for a prior written notice to explain to you in writing the basis of their refusal. So what's really cool is the prior written notice has required elements. They have to describe what it is that they've refused. They have to describe why they've refused it. The school district has to provide a description of the other options that were considered and why those other options were rejected. Then the school district has to provide a description of each record, assessment, and evaluation that they use as the basis for their refusal. So this is a pretty hard squeeze on them if you ask for a prior written notice. I will put a link in the bottom of this video so you can read in writing all the required elements of the prior written notice so that you understand it fully yourself. Because that's what you need to do as an advocate. You need to start learning the process, and you need to start filling your toolbox and learning what you need to know. Wherever you are in the process, you need to learn these tools. And believe me, the prior written notice is one of the most effective. In my experience, when you ask for a prior written notice, very often their refusal goes away because they can't document. They can't give you evaluations and records and an assessment basis for their refusal. They were just giving you a hard time. But now you've come back at them with the law, and now they have to step up and provide for your child. So I really want you to learn how to use the prior written notice. If you go to your state website, hopefully you have a state that has a special education section. In my state of Virginia, on the special education section of the state website, Department of Education, there is a guidance document for school districts as to when to use a prior written notice and when they're required. And so if you were to read this document, even if you're not from Virginia, if you were to read that document, it would really help educate you the various times when a prior written notice is actually required. So I would check with your state, because I do know that regulations unfortunately vary by state. I wouldn't want to lead you astray with something with regard to your state, but it is in the federal regulations that these elements are required. So please check that out. Well, here's the thing that's really, really frustrating about special education law. You don't have access to those protections unless you ask. And it's one of the most frustrating experiences to realize that it's highly likely that your child will not have access to what they need. They will not have access to what non-disabled students have unless you learn the language of how to ask. You need to learn how to ask and how to make clear to the school that you know your rights. Because if you sit in a meeting and you don't know your rights and you don't ask for the services in the right way, the school will use that as an opportunity to not provide what you are entitled to. It's a sad state of affairs. So the purpose of this video is to tell you about the prior written notice enough so that you can start using it yourself. Technically, the reason why there's the word prior is because the school district is supposed to provide you with this notice prior to them initiating a service or not providing a service. So that's where the word prior comes in, and I've seen in small, tiny print in the bottom of a standardized form that this serves as a prior written notice, and it's very generic. So it's really important that you go into the meeting with your request specifically written out so that you're prepared to say, I'm requesting a prior written notice as to why you are refusing to provide a specialized instruction for my child who needs reading instruction. Whatever it is that you're requesting. I'm requesting that my child stay in the general education setting and that we first try a paraprofessional, or et cetera, et cetera. So it's really important that you can articulate clearly what it is you're asking for and then follow that up with a request for a prior written notice. So that's one of my favorite tools, and I really want all parents to know about that and start using it. Again, I've got links at the bottom of this video so you can read more about it, and I really want you to be a successful advocate. So that's my video on prior written notice. My name's Allison. Thanks for watching. I'm going to be uploading more videos, so feel free to check those out, and I want to help you become a great advocate for your child.